Hello, my name is Kylie Leonard, and along with my partner Stephanie Hentz, we are going to discuss the Ball State orientation. During this discussion, we will talk about our research, the proposal we have for you, and how we got to our proposal, and the students' reactions to it. When we first started this journey, we were given the design brief to reimagine the student orientation experience at Ball State University through a transmedia, student-led approach that can be replicated at other schools. This brief gave us the focus for our research.
To move forward, an understanding of the orientation problem space was necessary, and from empathic research of that space, the following problem statement was developed. Freshmen need experiences that reduce social anxiety and create a comfortable atmosphere when acclimating to a new space. Design elements were developed to form the final proposal as gathered from user-based research. Requirements for the final design are pre-surveyed small groups that focuses on similarities, as students felt this would make socializing easier. Group socialization through team bonding activities and many activities in general, as students were eager to meet new people through fun events. And a personalized orientation to provide students the freedom of choice, a feeling of acknowledgement, and a sense of belonging in the new space, to get a better understanding of what college means to each individual. The final design must have an incorporation of relatability, group activities, and a way for students to understand their new environment, to have the sense that they are not alone. The final design cannot include icebreakers, lectures, or students grouped randomly, expressly stated by student participants.
This is our proposal to improve the Ball State orientation. This will include both physical and digital components. This user persona of Posey will be used to guide you through your experience. Posey is an 18-year-old incoming freshman. She's going to study journalism. When Posey signed up for her orientation, she was pre-surveyed based on her major and interests. Today, Posey received an email from orientation to introduce her to her matched teammates. Posey and her teammates start off at Pruis Hall, excited to get started with this choose-your-own-adventure game. Since they only had 3 hours, they decided to investigate the app. They log onto the app using their team name, Muckraker. While waiting for it to load, they decide to read the instructions of the activity. Once it was loaded, they had several options. Posey clicked on the leaderboard. Since no one had received points towards the game yet, no names were listed. Posey returned to the main screen and clicked on the map. Looking at the map, the team saw black stars at 5 locations. These are worth 50 points, whereas checking in at the red dots are only worth 10 points. They go to the black star in the Arts and Journalism building. The activity is called Art Creation. Here they're able to use the art department studio in order to make something creative. After making a painting together, they move to the rec center and participate in the station drills. Posey really enjoys the virtual reality golf. After the rec center, they go to the library and solve the escape room. They did it in a record time. After the escape room, they head to the student center. This location has 2 black stars. The first room they go in is a build and create. They decide to build a birdhouse. After finishing the birdhouse, they decide to go to the next star, which is considered the theater room. They investigate the script writing software. Tired after completing the 5 big rooms, they decide to look back at the app. Curious to see what they won, Posey clicked on the prize section. Posey did some quick math and realized her team had 250 points. This means they would get a Ball State t-shirt, a drawstring bag, water bottle, and a lanyard. Happy knowing they would walk away with some prizes, they returned back to the main screen. Since they had not seen their profile, Posey clicked on it. Posey is happy that she was right with her math. She is also glad she spent all this time with her team. She already has 4 friends in her major.
Now that you've seen our prototype, it's important to show you how we got here. Through the use of design thinking, we used the 5 steps, which were empathy, define, ideate, prototype, and test. We went and surveyed about 125 different users in the categories of students, from freshmen to seniors, international students, orientation leaders, residence assistants, and we also did the group of parents. So, having this large group and this different range of perspectives, it allowed for us to get to the center of this problem, which is socialization during orientation. It also allowed for our proposal to truly become user-centered.
The first key finding is that the methodology behind forced socialization is important in relationship building. A conclusive understanding was reached that icebreakers and competitions were hated as ways to meet new people, as approximately 68% of the initial saturating group responses relate to socialization. It was stated that some felt that socialization techniques / icebreakers left no time for actual conversation during the BSU orientation process, therefore left with no real friends, just strangers you had to tell random facts about yourself to.
The second key finding relates to small groups. So, we found that students feel more at ease when they are placed in a small group setting. From this, we found that there's 2 sub-key findings. The first one is that small group sizing would help students feel more valued. 90% of our groups said that small groups were an important part of an orientation. One participant said, "The smaller groups that we create during orientation are meant to make safe spaces and are of value. They're inclusive, diverse, etc." The second sub-key finding is that students want to be placed in small groups based on interest. A participant said, "Break them off into original groups based on interest, hobbies, majors, etc." This key finding shows the importance students place on being in small groups during activities.
Research also revealed key finding number 3, that interaction through team-based activities is seen as organic. Students want a sense of bonding through small groups. One student stated that team bonding activities, competitions, create trust and reliance and more participation in the lectures. 78% of groups mentioned their desire for these small groups to have some form of collaborative project in which they can complete during orientation. 56% mentioned group activities throughout the ideation session, one of which stated games, trivia, make them competitive and talkative, merchandise for winter, scavenger hunt.
Our fourth key finding was that students want to have choice in activities. This led to 3 sub-key findings. The first sub-key finding was that students want the freedom to choose which activities they are participating. One participant said, "Let them control which activities they do." The second key sub-finding was that students want to have a range of options to choose from. A different participant said, "My drawing isn't a single event. It's multiple events in one to give everyone the chance to find what makes them happy." The last sub-key finding is that students want free time to interact and explore the campus on their own terms. One participant actually said, "Stay out of the way, free time." These sub-key findings and their representative statements show that the importance students place on choice within the activity. Now, this might look like 3 random pictures, but it's actually how we came to get the idea for our proposal. On the upper left picture, it was taken from our first set of ideation. This participant's idea was to group people in small numbers, which would encourage them to talk organically. This drawing became the goal of the project, providing opportunities for students to make meaningful relationships. The lower left was taken from our round 2 of ideation. This was the first time the idea of a scavenger hunt was articulated. After this prototype, this idea actually appeared frequently, which led to the scavenger hunt prototype to become a driving force of the whole design. This was allowed the ability for students to have choice within their orientation. The lower right was taken from the final round of ideation. In this design, the user conceptualized the idea of having specific rooms dedicated to different activities. Within these rooms, interdisciplinary activities would be provided. The students would have choice over if they wanted to participate in the particular room. In this example, the students could choose from an escape the room, a design challenge, or a theater project where they could go from anything from writing the script to actually performing it. From this specific prototype came the idea of us creating these big rooms, which were the stars on the map.
Once the final design was created as a bid fidelity prototype, 10 users participated in a cognitive inquiry as they walked through the experience. Users followed a similar route on the map, which provided the basis for our student Posey's route, and users enjoyed the projects presented in each activity room. Testing results modified the final prototype by addressing the symbols on the map to accommodate colorblind students, and providing an area on the app to explain the directions of the game. Specific pros and cons were revealed in testing. Users appreciated the lack of orientation leaders for groups, that many interests or hobbies were satisfied. Students are made to explore campus. Students have a freedom of choice, and found the social media interaction enjoyable. Cons were seen as not enough leadership, as one participant felt comfortable with more guidance, and users noted that the directions were not specifically stated. After the users experienced the proposal, suggestions were made that could be explored for future development, using the Pokemon Go format. For the red dot locations, provide information about that location. Alternate availability of activity rooms to account for possible crowd congestion. Create activity rooms for each major or department, and allow for exploration of campus organizations. For any questions, contact Kylie Leonard at kaleonard@bsu.edu or Stephanie Hentz at shentz@bsu.edu. Thank you.